Do we have a deal? All right, great. So let's do the national anthem on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. The tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Amen. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You may please be seated very comfortably this morning. Again, good morning, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Particularly to all of our SME owners, entrepreneurs, and business owners who are here, all innovators, and everyone who's striving and working hard to ensure that we continue to put Nigeria on the global map of innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And again, I'm truly delighted to welcome us all to In Conversations with Mr. Abba Bello, who is the Managing Director of the Nigeria Export and Import Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to welcome you today. My name is Mojibade Shosoya. I am a professional compere, a television presenter, and of all the things that I am, I'm a very proud Nigerian. So I'm excited to be here to stir this conversation today. I will be the compere, and I would also be moderating the conversations that we'll be having with Mr. Abba Bello. But first, let me recognize today the former First Lady of Kogi State who's joined us, because this conversation is important to her. So please let's celebrate Hajiya Nana Abu Ali. Thank you so much for joining this, Bauchi, beg your pardon, for joining this conversation. Former First Lady, Bauchi State, Hajiya Nana Abu Ali, thank you so much for joining us. And to everyone who is here, we do have this room, we have an overflow, we have about 3 additional overflows of people who are interested in taking their businesses to another level, to growing their businesses, and of course making their journeys easier. Today promises to be a truly impactful and insightful day, and it's a no-hold-barred conversation. So what are we expecting? We're looking forward to enriching conversations. We'll be talking about how we can get more SME financing, because we do know that SME financing is still a challenge. However, the future is bright, and we will start from here, where we'll get on conversations that addresses SME financing. We'll also be talking about, opportunities that exist within the non-oil export sector. Very, very crucial, because it's about time. It's about time that we explore the many potentials that Nigeria has, and we must turn those potentials into prosperity, and not just any kind of prosperity. Sustainable prosperity is what we're talking about. And of course, very crucially, we'll be speaking to how Nexim is driving agro-industrial revolution and helping businesses scale. Because everyone who is an entrepreneur and innovator definitely has a desire to scale their businesses, has a desire to grow, and of course go global. You want to be born local and go global. And that conversation, we will have it today. We would have honest conversations. Would have the managing director of the Nexim Bank very shortly. Would invite him on stage, and we will have all of those conversations. We would have the opportunity to ask questions as well. But I'm imploring us to please keep our questions, I would say it in the Gen Z slang, very demure. Because here we are about growth. That's all that we're doing. Because honestly, the only reason we're having this conversation is to ensure that SMEs grow. We want you to grow. We want your journeys to be easier. And we want your businesses to be stronger whilst you're making profit, even on a global scale. So please keep your minds open. Make sure you pay attention to the conversation, because we'll first have a conversation with him, that is the managing director of Nexim Bank, and then we will proceed to taking your own questions and ensure that all the questions you have around SME financing, about just opportunities in the non-oil export, every single thing is addressed today. Before anything at all, I'd like to invite on stage a distinguished lady who will be welcoming us, because I'm the compere. I can only try to do a light welcome, but we have the head of operations at the APC Youth Wing who will do the welcome today. So please let's make welcome on stage Engineer Amaka Lawrence, who is the head of operations right here.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this special breakfast section in conversation with Abba Bello, the Managing Director of Nigerian Export and Import Bank, Nexim. We are honored to host such an esteemed gathering of thought leaders, entrepreneurs, exporters, investors, trade professionals, and development partners, each committed to shaping Nigeria's economic future through innovation, collaboration, and bold action. This morning's conversation couldn't be more relevant. It offers us a valuable opportunity to take a closer look at how the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, is driving global change and real change in Nigeria, particularly in diversifying our economy and expanding Nigeria's footprint in the global trade market. In this intimate setting, we are shining a light on the push to move beyond oil dependency and towards a more inclusive and export-driven economy. Nexim Bank, under the capable leadership of Mr. Bello, has been instrumental in advancing this vision, supporting exporters, unlocking trade finance, and helping Nigerian products reach international markets. From cocoa and cashew to urea and sesame, the growth in non-oil exports this year is a clear sign of momentum and possibility. This vision also resonates with the broader objective of the All Progressive Congress, particularly its push to build a more resilient economy, empowering young Nigerians and creating sustainable jobs through industrialization, innovation, and global competitiveness. For us at the National Youth Wing of APC, we believe prosperity is rooted in productive enterprise. From the farms, the factories, the tech hubs, and the creative studios that are driving Nigerians' economy forward. Across sectors, young Nigerians are ready, demonstrating what's possible and when opportunity meets ambition. Nexim's strategic intervention, whether through export credit guarantees, trade facilitations, or partnerships, are helping business break into new markets, add value to raw materials, and generate foreign exchange that has strengthened our economy. As we engage Mr. Bello this morning, let's explore how we can build on these efforts. How do we bring more Nigerians, especially young entrepreneurs, into the global market? What infrastructure and digital tools are needed to make exporting seamless and profitable? And how do we ensure that the renewed hope vision becomes a lived reality for millions? Let this morning be an insight. Let this morning give insight, collaboration, and action. Remember, we are not here just to talk. but to speak ideas and build connection that move us forward. On behalf of the Progressive Youth Wing and the Next Resource Center, we warmly welcome you. And thank you for being part of this meaningful conversation.
Thank you very much, Engineer Amaka Lawrence. Just like she already mentioned, right here we are all about progress. And it's progress, progress, progress. Because we actually understand that SMEs are the engine room of any economy. So why are we not talking about scaling them? Why are we not talking about creating a conducive environment for them? Why are we not talking about opportunities and, rooms for them to grow, scale, and go global and position Nigeria rightfully at her position? So, ladies and gentlemen, just before I invite on stage or invite to the stage to take a seat the national youth leader of the APC, I would like to ask us to please focus our attention to the multimedia screen as we show you a video that speaks to the journey of Nexim and, of course, all the opportunities that lie herein. So please, let's focus our attention to the screen as we show you this video. Thank you. Audio, please. Okay, so there's no audio, and I'm sure that we need to hear the audio.
By the central bank, a special product called the
Export
Development Fund was developed, which was with a purpose to develop the export sector in Nigeria. Now, development about export sector is not just about having more products financed for export into Nigeria, but to develop the sector itself. Between us and the central bank, we came up with an acronym, the PAVE agenda, which is to go back to production, add value to that, whatever product we are financing before export, with a view to getting more value for the same quantity of goods that are produced, whether it's from the farms or solid minerals, as the case may be. So we have partnered with the central bank, or let me put it this way, that the central bank has supported in our mandate to promote export in Nigeria. As we speak today, which is 3 years after this program started, the central bank has availed to Nexim Bank 150 billion naira, which we have extended to exporters. We have also done other things, like for instance, we've moved an exporter of sesame seeds into producing sesame oil, which is now on the shelves both in Nigeria and in the Middle East and Europe. And some of the things you see here are all the migration that we've had for our producers from primary products onto processed. So to have a full understanding of what impact the EDF has had on export and exporters in Nigeria, we'd like you to hear from our customers, see what they're doing. Those that are in trading, you see the volumes they're doing. Those that are in processing, you see the processes they're going through, and of course, even see the amount of value they're creating in job creation, in value chain development, as well as the output they get from production, and consequently how much they have generated in foreign exchange for the country.
All right, thank you very much. So that's just, of course, a snippet into what we are expecting from the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nexim, who I will be introducing shortly. But first, allow me to introduce on stage a visionary leader. And I don't say that because it's a nice thing to say. I've known this gentleman for such a long time, and I've seen him function very passionately in different capacities. And now as the APC National Youth Leader, I've also seen his drive, his passion to ensure that the youth, which of course is the largest segment of our population here in Nigeria, takes their rightful position. So I'm truly honored to invite on stage the APC National Youth Leader, Honorable Dayo Israel. Please give him a round of applause. He's also our convener. He's someone who is passionate about growth, passionate about progress, not just because he's, of course, in the Progressive Party, but he's genuinely passionate about progress. And now I'll be inviting our special guest of honor. When you read people's bios, it's not because you can't get it online. It's just to reiterate and honor them again because they've done such a great work. Well, he didn't let me read his bio before he came up stage. Please let's make welcome and give a better round of applause for Mr. Abba Bello, the Managing Director of Nexim Bank, who has left every other thing he could be doing this morning to join this conversation that we will be having. I know lots of people call him Mr. Abba Bello, but I'm calling him Abba B because I have insider information. Floriat! I also know that he's from King's College. He's a King's College old boy. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. Let's get right into it because we can't wait to have this enriching conversation. I'll allow my leader take charge and just give us a quick intro, and then I will come steer the conversation from here.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for doing fantastic work. And we're so excited to have you. Everybody, are you excited to see Mr. Abba Bello in the building? Yes. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Nigeria. I bring you the greetings of the National Youth Wing of the ruling party, the largest political party in Sub-Saharan Africa, the All Progressive Congress. And we've put together this fantastic event, part of our series of events, an evening in conversation with, and an evening with, and in conversation with. An evening with happens in the evening. We've had the privilege of having the Minister of Digital Technology, Mr. Bosun Tijani, the Chairman of the Sport Commission, National Sport Commission, and also this week we have the Minister of Regional Development and a couple of others who are going to be here. But for the first time, we have a daytime series. This is not one of the evening sessions. It's a daytime session. And we're debuting that with none other than a experienced banker, a transformer, a change maker, and one that is helping Nigeria take over not just the African market, but the global market with funding, with support, technical support and training. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege of having with us here today my own big brother, Mr. Abba Bello.
Thank you, Dayo.
So you're going to Algeria.
Yes.
But you've delayed your trip just to be with us this morning. We're very grateful for that. Please, another round of applause for him. So let me start before I give it back to Moji. Nexim has been in existence for many years, and you got in there in 2019. What would you consider to be your biggest deal brokered so far in Nexim?
Let me correct that. Nexim has been in existence since 1991. I got there in 2017.
2017, also.
Yes, not 2019. Now, let me say good morning to everybody here. And I'm very impressed by the attendance. Why? Because it shows the youth have jumped onto the bandwagon for inclusion into building the Nigerian economy. Remember, by 2030, we have a target. And that target is to have a GDP in this country of $1 trillion. We're not going to do it without the involvement of the youth. And I think that's why in the Renewed Hope agenda, the inclusion of youth is a very fundamental point for the government that is running now. The youth constitutes something like 70% of our population.
Yes.
And if the youth is not in the productive circles of the economy, the production and value chains in the economy, then $1 trillion is going to be a mirage. So I'm impressed. And you told me that this thing is being streamlined. and many people are already in it. So that's kudos to you there and the organization of this. So since we got into Nexim in 2017, we've tried to involve Nigeria's export value chains and grow it beyond what it was when we got in. Before the coming of Nexim, or our coming as management of Nexim, most of Nigeria's exports have been primary products, okay? So for me, I would say what we have done, and we have done well, and we're continuing to do, is migrating Nigerian exporters from being mere exporters of primary products into adding value. What does adding value do to it? It keeps our value onshore. It creates jobs and brings in the much needed foreign exchange that we're all pursuing today. So for me, pointing to specifics is going to be difficult because we have we have examples across different value chains, across different sectors of the economy. And if you look at the value of non-oil exports since 2017, it has been on a rising trend. Why? Because we're exporting more value rather than primary products.
A lot of time, women-led SMEs says that they have limited access to financing. And I know that you have a special program for women and youth at Nexim to support their export effort and all of that. Would you tell us a bit about this?
Okay, so in our assessment of the export value chains, we now found out that very few women, and very, very few women, are involved as entrepreneurs in the value chain, okay? But on the other hand, when you look at specific value chains in the agri sector, and I'll give you an example, cashews, shea, and the likes, 80% of the people that work in that value chain are women. So for us, we now said, why can't women be the entrepreneurs?
Drivers.
And the drivers of these value chains. And I hear you when you say women complain that they don't access finance. It is a belief that they have, okay? So for us, we now decided that we're going to launch products that is specific to women and youth. Severally, you heard, we had a big launch for it at Sheraton Hotel. I think it was in 2021. 2021. We had a big launch for it to tell women that as much as men that are above youth, the traditional owners of businesses in Nigeria, we also have products for you. So we launched a product that is called YF, which means Women and Youth Export Facilities, and is specifically targeted for women. What is different from it is that we have relaxed things like the collateral requirements. We have, of course, you know that Nexim gives concessionary loans to all exporters. So we invited women who say, if you have exportable products, come to Nexim and you'll be financed. Don't think that financing is only for men who are not youth. So, so for us, women who are in whatever kind of business that is exportable can approach Nexim to be financed for that business. I know there are things like garmenting that women are very good at. If you go to the share value chain, it is virtually a woman's business. Though what we have today is very small cottage and traditional processes for getting share butter into the market. We want to scale women. We want to encourage them to get into the export value chain to the global markets and the regional markets most especially. Since we have an advantage in Nigeria, they can take advantage of.
I think you mentioned the share market, and I wanted to ask, recently the federal government just banned the export of shea butter and all of that. What's your perspective on that?
So 5 days ago, I woke up to good news. Good news given that statistics vary between this 40% to some say 60% of global share is in Nigeria. They are wild, but there are a lot of them. When we came on board in 2018, we now noticed that despite the fact that share is a growing global business, and 60, you can take the figure you want, yes, but a very large percentage of global origin of share is Nigeria. We didn't have one industrial plant that was processing share in Nigeria. So we put it on the front burner that we are going to create and finance industrial processing of share. So far, we have financed 4. One in Ogun State, 2 in Niger State, and 1 in Kano. And they're all in production. But why was it good news to me? About 2 weeks ago, we went to Niger State to commission the 4th one. And one of the complaints that the promoters had was that sourcing the raw material is very difficult, given that there is already a tradition of producing for those that export it and export it illegally into neighboring countries where already there are industrial plants that exist. So when I woke up to the news in the morning, I think it was 5 days ago, yes, or 6 days ago, that the government has banned for 6 months the export of share out of Nigeria. What that has done is guaranteeing the supply chain for those 4 industrial plants that we have, and at a lower price, because before they were competing with people buying from outside. Now I think we are going to even have excess share for the production. But I even want to appeal to government to perhaps even increase the period from 6 months to perhaps a year, because we want to also encourage more people to start investing in value addition for share in Nigeria. And added to the appeal I'm making to government, let's not only make it share. Let's look at other value chains, agricultural value chains, and start a process of banning the export of primary products. We must add some value at home so that we can keep the jobs here, we can create wealth here.
Okay, please go ahead. I would take one last question from me before I move over to Moji, and then we'll come back again. So this is an expo I'm going to ask for. So when we talk about non-oil sector export, which non-oil sector holds Nigeria's strongest export potential? Where should young people who want to go into export, where should we be putting our money? Where's the profitability based on the figures that you're saying?
Incidentally, I don't want to point to a specific value chain. The non-oil export sector is an opportunity pot. Okay, whether you're in the agri value chain, or you're in services, the creative sector, or you want to venture into solid minerals, we are operating suboptimally in all value chains as we are today. So what I'm going to appeal to the youth and encourage them to do is to invest where your passion is. Invest where your passion is, whether it's in the agri value chain, agro-processing, in the creative sector. I know a lot of you are very innovative, creative, and have a passion in the creative sector. So I want to generalize it down that the opportunity is in the non-oil value chains. In all value chains, there is nothing that Nigeria has reached its potential. Okay? But for business, is where your passion is that you will excel in. And with the energy, intelligence, and creativity we have, when the youth engage in export, I know the value chains and the outcomes are going to be great. And I think what we're doing here is the right thing to do to try and encourage the youth to get into that value chain.
Thank you very much. Moji, take it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abba Bello. Let me.
I thought you said you were going to say Abba B.
No. It was a one-off when I was introducing him.
That means she has dig deep.
I have. No.
And to know that I'm called Abba B.
No way. I really dug deep.
Okay.
So first, let me actually thank you, because I know that, IATF is the biggest trade fair in Africa, and it's happening. You're supposed to be in Algeria, but you've made time to be here. So thank you so much. Please, another round of applause for him. He just says that this is extremely important to him and he cares about what is happening here. But let's just go straight into talking about financing, because yes, we're talking about exports, but the money to finance the SMEs, SMEs need a lot of funding. Now, one of the things that scare SMEs is that when they hear of collaterals, they run away from these things, right? Is there any way that that Nexim in particular is considering solutions that are tailored to youth-led businesses to afford them the opportunity to get financing without the grand, collateral requirements that, businesses that are already established get?
Okay, I think this is a question that is a recurring question. Collateralization has always been a challenge. Yes, so just like we did the Women and Youth Facility, we also did one that is specifically called a SME Export Facility.
Okay.
And it's deliberate. Why is it deliberate? Is for the SMEs, which constitute 49% of Nigerian business. When I say Nigerian business, I mean in volumes, but it's about 80% of Nigerian active businesses. But it is deliberate to make the SMEs know that there is financing for them. And going specifically to your question about collateralization, we know across the banking sector and the financial services, that has always been the issue with SMEs. So what did we do? First of all, let's assure the youth, SME businesses, and those that have collateral challenges that we're ready to be flexible. We are flexible in, okay, let me just even tell you what Nexim is. Nexim is an export credit agency where one of our biggest functions is to do credit guarantees and insurance. Now, again, around the financial services sector today, several agencies and institutions have been created that are doing insurance and guarantees for loans, and it is targeted at SMEs. So those are an option. We have other things that we work with state governments to organize in the export value chain, people who are doing the same thing into cooperatives with the help of support from the state governments, communities, and so on, to try and keep everybody within a circle. And we can now be flexible in our financing packages to reduce the collateral requirements. But I was having a discussion with Dayo over the weekend. I said, many SMEs and youth don't know that the central bank has also tried to have other alternative collaterals in the market, and it's called the national collateral registry, which enables movable assets. So if you have a car, you can register it on the collateral registry and use it as collateral. Many of you women have jewelry that is beyond what your financing requirements, the value of which is beyond what your financing requirements are, and are not using it to secure more money. So you can use movable assets, which includes jewelry and other small personal assets, as collateral for you. And when you acquire loans, the intention is that as you grow in the value chain or in your business, you are able to acquire assets that you will use as collateral for your financing needs. So over time, we have put in a lot of products that will address the issue of collateralization. For us, collateralization is a backup. What is important is what your business is. If your business is bankable, then we can adjust those requirements for collateralization and see how we can support you. to achieve your aspirations. Now, don't forget that we and others that are like us are developmental finance institutions.
Right.
So we're ready to look at other options rather than insisting on landed property, on other collaterals that are difficult for SMEs and the youth to acquire at this stage of their career and
thank
their
you.
businesses. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. So all of this information can be found on the website, because I feel like people don't search for information. So sometimes
right.
they make assumptions based off what they hear.
The National Collateral Registry is a page on CBN's website itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Let me even give you, as of 2022, up to 1.3 trillion naira has been acquired using the National Collateral Registry.
Wow.
And who are the people who are doing that? It's people in the rural areas, because the biggest users of the National Collateral Registry are microfinance banks. So it's small borrowers in the marketplace, small borrowers in the rural areas that are taking very small loans, but up to 1.3 trillion. So imagine when businesses get the hang of using National Collateral Registry with their movable assets to get funding from both commercial banks and DFIs.
okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to move away from financing to talk about value addition and industrialization. And I think my first question to you in that regard will be, what makes a product truly export worthy? Because everybody wants to go global. I want to go global. All entrepreneurs, innovators here, farmers, and whatever category they fall, want to scale their businesses on a global scale, right? But what qualities must be checked to make your product export worthy? Is it the packaging? Is it, how far you have refined it? What exactly, so that we can...
It's a combination of all. Okay? Outside financing, Nexim is also a trade facilitator. And since we are putting money in financing export, we must also make sure that certain standards are met. If you are going into markets that are outside your boundaries, then standards change. Okay? And if you are going, maybe we'll have the same level of standardization across the region. But once you are going into the global market, standards need start going higher. Because today, things like sustainability have become very important. And sustainability is all about standards. Things get as far as traceability. If you are doing agricultural products, for instance, the kind of chemicals and pesticides you have used in the farms. And it's all about standard. So, to compete in the international markets, whether it is regional markets or the global markets, there are certain standards that have to be met. There is certification and there is packaging. Packaging being that is what attracts the eye. If you are producing to the retail market, to the retail end of the market, then your packaging and branding becomes very important. While that is not financing, those are the soft things that become very important when you are exporting from them. So to the youth and the SMEs, what I would say is that if you are going to start a business or you're already in business, start from day one to think that this business, even if you're selling in the domestic market at this time, that this business is intended to compete internationally, okay? So that the standardization and certification starts from the beginning, rather than when you get to the point where you want to start exporting, you want to start reviewing your standards. Start from day one with the aim to compete in markets that are outside the market of Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. So yes, be born local, but think global.
Correct.
Think global in your dealings, regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. So, in recent times, we've talked a lot about industrialization, and I think it's on everyone's lips. And I think just last month, it was last month, there was a National Industrialization Manpower Summit. How exactly does Nexim fit into Nigeria's industrialization journey? And how does that affect those that are here, that are listening, SME owners, and the cross-section of people that we have?
Okay, so honestly, to compete in the global markets, you have to industrialize. And we've recognized that. I think when I started speaking, I spoke about our intention to migrate, keep migrating Nigerian exporters from primary producers to process, some form of processing. One, because that's when you get the value. If you export primary products, what are you exporting with it? You're exporting value, you're exporting jobs. So for us, we've always known that processing is the way to go. So we coined an acronym, which is called PAVE. And what it means is to produce, whether it is from the farms, from solid mineral mines, or even garmenting. But before you export it, take it to the highest level of value that you can. So that PAVE means produce, add value before export. Let me just give you context. Somewhere between 73 and 75% of globally traded cocoa comes out of West Africa. Cocoa is a $200 billion and growing
Industry.
global value chain every year. But 75% of producers of cocoa, which is 4 countries basically in West Africa, don't get up to 10 billion out of it. So over $190 billion of value is exported because we are still exporting beans. And it's like that across all non-oil value chains. So there is a critical need. In our target of 1 trillion economy, one of the things we have to do is to industrialize. So Nexim's focus is contribution to the industrialization drive of Nigeria is in the export value chain. And I've spoken about industrializing the shea butter value chain. Incidentally, in its life, Nexim has had a hand in setting up maybe 80% of the cocoa processing plants in Nigeria from 1991. And it is a drive we are continuing to do in different value chains, in solid minerals, in the agricultural value chains, as well as things like services and garmenting and what, to just keep moving up the global value chains to get more value in Nigeria. So for the export value chain, Nexim's contribution is in that.
Thank you. I think I really like the acronym PAVE.
PAVE, yes.
Produce, add value before you export. So just always think of value. Thank you. So, Honorable Dyer.
Yes, thank you very much, MD. I think one thing, talking about globalization, talking about the global marketplace, a lot of SMEs and a lot of businesses want to export and go global at once. Do you reckon that it's important to start sub-regionally? So export into West Africa, export into, leveraging after before trying to go to America and Canada. What's your thoughts on that?
So the mindset for most people when they hear export or want to engage in export is to export overseas, and I use the term overseas deliberately, is to go across the seas to Asia, to Europe, and to America. That is the mentality of the African continent, that we trade with other continents and not trade with ourselves. In the whole world, Africa is the only continent that doesn't trade with itself, or the trade between itself with neighbors is the lowest. And it's somewhere around 15 to 18% of African trade. If you go to Europe, 65% of European trade is done within the EU.
The EU.
In America, it is about 45%, and in Asia, about the same, 48%. Africa is still at 15 to 18%. That is where AFCFTA is very important. Borders have been created, barriers have been created between us and our neighbors. We're not trading with ourselves, and the whole objective of the AFCFTA is to bring down those barriers and encourage trade vertically across the regions and across Africa. Now, that is also why IATF is very important, because one of the things that we lack in Africa is information. We don't know, honestly, we don't even know what is produced in Senegal. What we are looking for in Senegal, we go and buy it from Asia. What we are looking for in Nigeria that is produced in Senegal, we buy it from Asia, because we have no information that exists in Senegal. So the intra-Africa trade is supposed to bring everybody together, share information about the availability of certain things. So our hope and what we encourage is to get our exporters to look at the African market. Imagine you make plantain chips. You live in Badagry. Your closest market is actually Cotonou, which is across the border. Okay? What stops you from producing in a formal way your product and selling it in Benin Republic? It's still export. It's still the same thing as exporting to China. Still the same thing as exporting to...
But the currency is different.
But
so international currencies all, as we are now, to do that trade, and that is one of the things that AFCFTA with Afrexim SPACs is trying to solve. As we are now, even if you are trading with Benin Republic, you are going to trade in dollars. Or maybe euro, because it's Benin Republic. But first, what we need to do is even create the trade. Currency challenges is there. The desired currency, the US dollar, is there. But we should also create, in fact, it even exists. Informal trade today, non-oil informal trade, is bigger than formal trade. And it shows that we are already trading with each other. But we are trading with each other in an informal manner. And we're not getting the benefits of export. The economy is not getting the benefit. It's probably recorded as domestic trade, okay, because it's on the ground and things. Well, one of the things, the lowest hanging fruit to get the benefits of export is to shift the exporters now that are trading across the border onto the formal platform. And I think with the coming of AFCFTA and those barriers collapsing, that will happen. And we shall see non-oil export and trade, recorded trade with the region increase significantly.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, just one last thing. And for the youth and SMEs, with AFCFTA trading with our neighbors, there is nothing that is now not exportable. Why? Because at least the region is homogeneous. So what we consume in Nigeria, if it's food, is also consumed around our neighbors. Okay? The only things that are not exportable are those that are on the exclusive trade list. So everything you're doing, if you are doing what you think is small business, your product is still exportable to the region. And I will encourage you to also look at the markets around the country, around Nigeria, because those are also markets that your product can move in. You don't have to start thinking of Europe. Think local.
Africa.
Let me borrow. And local in this case is within the African continent, within the region. It's as good as exporting to what I now term overseas.
Thank you so much. And before we move to the audience, because I know lots of people are itching and eager to ask questions, I think my final question to you will be in terms of mentorship and guidance. A lot of young people, so there's the money conversation, but some people don't lack access to money. What they lack is access to mentorship, guidance, and just that support. is there anything that Nexim is doing in terms of training, mentorship, guidance to just help to also challenge a lot of mindsets and behavioral patterns?
So majority of speaking is about building the capacity.
Capacity building, yes.
Which can be from training, understanding the product, understanding
Absolutely.
the processes.
Absolutely.
And even mentoring individuals in terms of believing in yourself.
To just help their journeys, yes.
Yes, of course. It's a very, very huge part of what we do. And like I told you earlier, Nexim is not only a financing institution, it's also a trade facilitation agency. First of all, with NEPC, which is the trade promotion agency in Nigeria, we organize a lot of capacity building sessions. But beyond that, we do what is called export enlightenment programs, where we bring, first of all the agencies that are involved in the export value chain. Ministries, agencies, including DFIs that will finance your industrialization and so on and so forth. And go around the country and do this export enlightenment training and so on and so forth. But we also noticed that is time consuming. And it's also digs our resources that we should use for lending in doing capacity building. So we decided to do that enlightenment in the palms of everybody.
Okay.
We facilitated and promoted an export academy that is open and free. Well, for now it's free. For every budding exporter or an existing exporter that wants to increase knowledge or increase capacity, we put all the training programs, resources, and what have you on that platform and it's accessible to everybody. That doesn't mean that we still don't do the physical export enlightenment. We also support, as part of our CSR, not in a very, very big way, capacity building programs that others are doing specifically for trade and export to build capacity in different value chains and in the different groups that are willing or hoping to start being engaged in the export value chain. And for me and Nexim, being in the export value chain doesn't mean that you have to be in export yourself. You can be just part of the supply chain for an export to an exporter or to those that do the export. You can choose to do aggregation. You can choose to supply into the aggregation centers, okay? And once you're in the export value chain, you still qualify to get support from Nexim Bank. So for those that are not already in export, get in the value chain, build capacity, understand the businesses before you engage in the business. But you can still come to us for funding and support.
Okay, incredible. Thank you so much. Please let's give a round of applause to Mr. Abba Bello, a.k.a. Abba B. All right, so we'll take questions from the floor so that we make this as conversational as possible.
So I think there's someone moving the microphone around the audience.
Yes,
and so we'll pick different rounds of questions. We're live on Television Continental, so you can TVC Nigeria, both on the television and on the online channel. So for those who are not here, you can signal to those at home that you believe will benefit from this to tune in to TVC Nigeria on DSTV. Before we move forward, we'll take the first set of questions, another set of questions, and we'll take them in box. So there's a gentleman in, I think it's brown, yes, with the glasses. Go ahead, yes.
Good morning, MD Nexim Bank. Good morning, APC National Youth Leader.
Thank you.
My name is Abubakar Isa from New Telegraph newspapers. I've followed conversation of MD Nexim Bank, and I commend him for leading the innovation. MD sir, could you tell us how much of export development fund have been granted to businessmen in the last 1 year, and what the volume of job has been created?
Thank you. We'll take about 4 more questions in that same line. The gentleman in white, yes.
Good morning, Mr. Abba B.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it.
Good morning, my
All right.
youth leader. My name is Dr. Femi Adetola. I came in from Oyo State purposely because of this program.
Wow, thank you very much. Give him a big round of applause.
Was in the past a political activist, but today I became a solution activist. My question is for the two of us, the youth leader as well as my uncle, Abba B. I want to ask, what are we planning to make sure that this program is not just a rhetoric? What is the follow-up we have in mind to make sure that we have testimonies from this group of youths that are here after this program? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I need a lady. Where's the lady? Her Excellency has a question. We'll take Her Excellency, the former First Lady of Bauchi State, and then we'll take the gentleman in white at the back, and then we'll come to you, and then we'll close this first round. You respond, and then we'll take another round.
It's a pleasure being here with you all, and I must say congratulations, Dayo, my dear son. I call him my son. This is a great innovation.
Thank you.
Mr. Abba Bello, this is a great pleasure having you here because this is what the youth and the women need. So I say, I am starting a program which Mr. Dayo already knows about. It's called Lavutra. And we are
It's called
Lavutra.
Lavutra.
We are trying to grow visibility for a lot of startups, organizations, especially the events planners.
Industries.
Yes, event industries. It's a platform that is a place for all event planners, all in one place. So my contribution is that Lavutra is Africa's premier event tech platform designed to simplify and elevate event planning while showcasing our culture and creativity to the world. Given Nexim Bank's leadership in financing non-oil exports and supporting the creative economy, how can platforms like Lavutra tap into Nexim's support scale, empower SMEs, and extend African events and services to global markets? Are there collaborative pathways where Lavutra can align with Nexim's initiatives to showcase Africa's creativity and services on international platforms, much like you've done for other sectors? You mentioned Africa trading with Africa. This is very interesting to Lavutra because that's what we are trying to do, grow visibility. So how can we partner with you to achieve that?
Thank you very much, ma. I think there was a gentleman in white, that young gentleman there, and then we'll come to the gentleman with the red cap. Don't worry, everybody will get their chance. Yes, the gentleman in white, yes.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Dayo, thank you for being the good leader to us. And good morning, sir. Mr. Abba B. My question, let me just go through my question, sir. What is the volume of the funding you can raise for the new exporters that want to come into that? And what is the interest, the highest interest on that money, in which way it will not affect the trade business owners? Thank you.
Thank you. The gentleman with the red cap. Can we take one more lady after him? Her Excellency has given us a good question. Okay, we'll take one lady and then we'll have this first round of yes. Go ahead.
I thank you, our idea-driven national youth leader, for putting up this conference. And I thank you, the MD of Nexim Bank, for coming on the program. I am an exporter myself.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
And I've been in the industry for 31 years.
Hi, Chief Exporter.
My name is Chief Chibunna Obawike. I export live ornamental tropical fishes and reptiles.
Wow.
Now, I was the former president of Association of Ornamental Fish Farmers and Exporters of Nigeria. I was a member of the Presidential Committee on Fisheries and Aquaculture Development in Nigeria in 2003. By the time we finished our committee work, Nigeria became the largest catfish producer in Africa, because the government gave teeth to our report and Nigeria benefited immensely from it. I represented Nigeria as a vice president in African Task Force on Ornamental Fish Development set up by African Union, Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources. I'm coming. AUI by Kenya. I am giving you a background. So when I'm talking from the perspective of an insider.
Experience.
Thank you. Now, I am a politician, a stakeholder in our great party, the All Progressives Congress, and the national chairman of all registered APC, North-South Progressives. I am interested in the development of Nigeria and in the programs our party are turning out for the betterment of Nigerians. Unfortunately, some appointees of our government are sabotaging the effort of the government, especially President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government. Some ministers are killing businesses of exporters. I am coming, sir. Now, I am using myself as an example. I have been exporting live reptiles from our neighboring countries. It is a big industry. Now, I came here to do it for my country, to create jobs, to put food on the table of people, to earn foreign exchange for my country, but the Honorable Minister of Environment sat on my business and killed it. They gave me permit once in August last year. I exported. He sat on it. I lost over 100 million. Now, what I'm trying to ask
what can Nexim do for you?
What basket of funds do you have available for people who are in the trade already? Not people you will say, come, let us train you here, because the experience is already there. We already have the market. How can you assist us? And also, assist us, talk to those that are sabotaging the efforts of the government.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll take the lady at the back and close this first session.
Your name and your question. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Oluseyi Deborah Moemeke, and I'd like to stand on the existing protocol. I appreciate the
Can we have,
director.
sorry, hold on, ma'am. Can we have one house, please? Thank you. One house, please. Thank you. Your question.
Okay, thank you, the National Youth Leader. I watched the clip showed before we started this program, and some questions arose within me. Number one is, most of those businesses I was seeing, Lagos, supported by Nexim. So I begin to think, should I conclude that there is a skew to Nexim support to business owners? Within me, I still answer no. And I feel we need to close some gaps in order to make this sitting today productive and sustainable, like our activists just said. By virtue of my practice and my profession as an analyst, analyze food products and medical scientist too, even for exports and the likes, I've met a lot of people coming with questions. They don't understand how to go about this, even aside funding. So that is making me to come to this, that can we consider, if it's going to be organized by the youth office or Nexim, we call some things train the trainers or consultants that can handle as many upcoming business, entrepreneurs that may want to go into exportation, or even local businesses that will enhance the economy of our nation. A lot lack this knowledge and wherewithal. Can we please consider that as a take-off strategy from this sitting and harness the opportunities and the brains we have here, and by extension that will come after, and really give back to the economy and better this government? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll come and take responses. The next set of questions, if you're in the overflow, we have about 3 overflows and they have questions. So ushers, can you receive paper questions from the overflows and bring them to us so we can also ask on their behalf? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting questions, especially the last one. I like it very well. The lady that asked the last question, the analyst. Sorry, I didn't get your names when you were asking the questions. The gentleman from the Telegram newspaper asked about the Export Development Fund and how much of it has been disbursed. You said in the last 1 year, right? Let me give you context. it's difficult. I can get it, but it's not something that is in my head. That was disbursed in the last 1 year. The Export Development Fund was and still is a debenture that we signed with the Central Bank of Nigeria to support exporters. A total of 137 billion naira has been released to Nexim, but that fund is going in as a revolving fund. So even when exporters pay back, we give new loans with it, either to the same exporter or a new exporter that has not had the benefit of getting funded. So it's a revolving fund, and it's a total of 137. The debenture was 150, but only 137 billion was released to us. Now, but we have gone beyond the Export Development Fund. Nexim's total assets, all of which goes to lending to exporters, is today around 430 billion naira. Okay? And all our lending, we're doing it on the same condition that we have for Export Development Fund. A follow-up question came from somebody in the middle here that was asking at what price point are we lending? What is the interest rate? Our total all-in rates in Nexim Bank is 9%, which earlier I said, outside being a lender and a concessionary lender, we're also a trade facilitation bank. So that's what I meant. You get your funding at single digits, 9%, which is maybe the only bank that you can get, maybe one other DFI. But that's the lowest interest rate in the market today, at 9%. So we have funded exporters to the tune of somewhere around 420 billion naira today, all at very concessionary rates. The jobs that have been created, direct jobs that have been created from our funding, is somewhere about 12,000 jobs from our funding. That is, I said, direct jobs. But where you have a plant that was financed by Nexim, the number of jobs that plant creates is almost infinity. The number of jobs that are created in the value chain because of our funding is not even going to be easy to, and I'll give you an example. There is a company we're financing in Akure that does processing of cocoa. They told us that our funding facilitated using, prior to our funding, they were using 4,000 outgrowers for their cocoa. And our funding took it up to 12,000. Okay? So when we're estimating the jobs we have created, we can only look at the direct ones and the indirect jobs that are close to the beneficiary of the loan. But further down, it keeps growing. Okay? But direct, we can tell you that about 12,000 jobs have been created from our funding. Next question about what happens after this program today. I can't remember who asked the question, that this won't be a one-time thing. It is exactly the same thing we discussed with National Youth Leader over the weekend, that we're going to use this as the big occasion where it will be on TV and all. But we must create continuity so that we can sustain the momentum.
Absolutely.
We suggested between ourselves that we'll do something with the youth, organized by Dayo, because I can see he can organize. We will do something with the youth quarterly so that we can maintain the momentum, building capacity, but with the youth and SMEs, let's not wait for the quarterly engagements. let's also go out there to try and build capacity. Like I mentioned, Nexim is there for you. It was created for you. And because we're a trade facilitation agency, even if you need something to clear, walk into our offices. We don't fence people. When you come and you want information, we'll give it to you. And if we have any capacity building programs, feel free to be part of it, because those capacity building programs are for you, the exporters and prospective exporters. We'll continue this engagement and know that our offices are always open to you. You can come in at any time. Lavotra events. Again, that's the export of services. When you are speaking, you said it. How do we encourage the export of services? Today, services constitute close to 55% of our GDP. It is the biggest sector of our economy. And services, you know, is very wide. Yeah. Almost what Moji does is services.
Yes.
Okay? And we want to see how we can export our services to Ghana. We want, when somebody is having an occasion, which is event planning, excuse my English.
Oh, but that's right.
Yeah. And the first person the person thinks is Moji in Nigeria. Let's go like, it's all export. Okay? So a very significant pillar of what we do in Nexim is how we can support the export of services out of Nigeria. Today, outsourcing is a growing business in Nigeria. From telephone, call centers, servicing countries abroad, to accounting services, to legal services. There are people sitting in their houses and giving accounting services to companies in America. It is the export of service. And for the youth that are very adept at digital things, that is your business. It is part of our focus areas to keep developing it and supporting it. So events, I want a situation, again, when somebody is planning an event anywhere in Africa, what they think of is Lavotra. And once you have those services, those contracts, or those jobs to do, come to us if you need financing for it. As long as you flow the dollars back to Nigeria, we'll finance it. Again, we're also all part of services. We're trying to see how we can support Nigerian businesses in sectors such as construction to explore African markets. All these big roads we're building now, we're again rebuilding the capacity of construction companies in Nigeria. Jobs are not only in Nigeria, there are jobs in Benin Republic, there are jobs in Ghana and across the whole of Africa. We want to see how we can support our services providers to go out of the borders and expand their horizons. So if you have those jobs, or even in setting up with the intention of exporting such services, we can have a discussion to do. I'll give you an example today, Moji. The IATF that is happening in Algeria. We're seeing Egyptian construction people going to Algeria to do the setup of the pavilions, and that's export of service. And we're wondering why Nigerian construction people are not going there to do. It's all export of service. It's to pull in the resources of other countries into your own by providing either goods or services to them. Yeah. So we can have a discussion on that. I think I've answered the volume and interest questions that the gentleman across in the middle somewhere here. It's 9%. All in, there is no hidden charges, you know, like you say about banks, that hidden charges.
And condition.
That is 9% total. Okay.
Single digit.
Single digit interest rate, yes. Exporter of fish. First, what are ornamental fish? Is it goldfish that is in ponds or what? When you say ornamental fish,
yes, goldfish is part of ornamental fish, but it is not endemic to Nigeria. It is foreign species.
Okay, so generally you're speaking of aquaculture.
Not just aquaculture.
Yes.
Aquaculture is a component part of the ornamental fish trade.
Okay.
But I concentrated more on the live animal exportation, wherein Nigeria signed in the Convention of CITES
So-
1974, and we have not benefited from
So, first of all, let's even speak about domestically. It is because of focus on areas that have been neglected before. President Tinubu did two things. He separated the Ministry of Transport from and created the Ministry of Blue Economy. Blue Economy is now about MPA only. It's not about shipping and maritime industry. It is actually, it also includes aquaculture from the sea. It also includes fisheries and tourism. Yeah, I know there is a ministry that is in charge of tourism, but the tourism around the blue economy is, so that's why they call it blue economy. They didn't call it marine economy, blue economy. It is all encompassing. So there is focus there now. There is also now focus, separation from Ministry of Agriculture and a Ministry of Livestock is created.
Yes.
Again, it's about focus to make sure that everything livestock has its own specialization. And if I hear you well, livestock is not only cow. No, I'm just saying livestock, because we have a tendency to limit what the functionality is, including your reptiles. Is livestock. If you're doing snails, is livestock. Okay, so there is a focus for it. But for us, we've always known that there is value in, maybe because I didn't say it when I was saying what our pillars were. Even aquaculture is part of our focus area, but we just group it as agriculture. Maybe we should even now separate it so that it can become a focus area. We're financing the export from Nigerian waters of shrimps, prawns, lobsters, and fish. Okay? Maybe not ornamental fish, because we're not experts in fisheries. If you come to us and tell us there is value in the export of this ornamental fish, we'll support you. There is value in export of reptiles. Crocodiles are reptiles. Snakes are reptiles. And the skin is valuable. We can do it because we have a focus on leather and skin. Okay? And crocodiles and snakes are part of it. So, like I said earlier, there is nothing that is not exportable. If you have value that you want to export, speak to us. We as Nexim don't have the monopoly of knowledge. We don't even know all the things that are exportable. The business you're doing, perhaps you're about a very few Nigerians that know that business is also exportable. Speak to us, tell us, teach us as we teach you, so that we can partner and collaborate to get value for it.
Thank you. Let me quickly drop this also to the questions about what are we doing. Here at the Nest Resource Centers, in partnership, the youth wing of the party partnership with other organizations are doing a lot to ensure that we build capacities of our young people. That's part of why we're doing this, because a lot of people complain, we can't access this minister, we can't access this government official, we voted for your party. And our platform is to bring policymakers and the citizens together to create a platform for engagement and easy access to policymakers to hear directly from you. I understand a couple of people are in the marquee outside and they also have questions. Either you tell them to bring them here, or you now if you can get them to write their questions down and bring me the questions, yes, we'll take that. We're not done. Do you have the questions?
There is one more question.
Oh, okay.
Yes. There is something else. I don't think what you said about people working in this government and working against the government is right. And I'll say this. You mentioned environment. Because of focus on sustainability now, environmental issues have taken top priority. I want you to go back and see, is there documentation or something you're supposed to do to your business that you have not done? It's not good to just assume that somebody is doing it to frustrate you. I don't think to frustrate government is what you meant. It's to frustrate you that you're speaking about. Okay? I don't think it's the right platform for us to debate that.
Yes.
But let us just put it on the table. Like you said, because we are also a facilitation agency, along with our sister agency, Export Promotion Council. If you have those challenges, come to us, come to Export Processing, Export Promotion Council. We'll see how we can also advocate for your requirements to be met from agencies that are charged with making sure Nigeria meets global standards. I want to look at it from that perspective rather than frustration. Yes.
Okay, yes.
So
Muji,
I'm
just
going
one
to
second.
read a few. Okay.
And just 1 second. Let me also mention that on Wednesday, on Thursday, we have the Minister of Regional Development here at State Regional Development here at 6 o'clock, but networking will begin at 4 o'clock. Then on Friday, we have the Director General of NIDA is going to also be joining on here. For those who are in tech, who wants to engage with NIDA and see how they can leverage Nigeria's government policies and programs for their tech innovations and stuff. And next week, Tuesday, also here, we have the Director General of the National Sport Commission. He's going to be watching the Nigerian South Africa match with us, and then we're going to also have interaction. So every week here, we're going to be bringing in policymakers to engage with the citizens, and it's free for you to participate. Just register on our link or follow us on all our social media at APC Youth Wing. At APC Youth Wing, or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dio Israel. My Israel is ISRAEL for all of the programs. We also do training programs. We just finished our 3 days vocational skill training programs. We're doing trainings for digital skills, leadership training, teamwork training, office etiquette training. We have a program called the Workplace Readiness Program for those who want to go into the labor market, job interview skills, CV writing skills. And we also have our EDES program, Enterprise Development Training Program, where we train SMEs with skills they need to be able to build and scale their business. So now I'll go to Moji to take the questions from the overflow.
There is a question that was the last question that I liked the most. The lady that is the analyst, you spoke about all the videos you saw are all Lagos. Most of them. Or Ogun State. Okay, so let me tell you, it's just a coincidence. Maybe it is those that were chosen. One of our things that we're very aggressive about, one of our objectives that we're aggressive about, I've mentioned it earlier, is to encourage processing. Number one. A lot of the processing facilities are put in Lagos. It's simple economics, proximity either to the raw material or proximity to market, okay? And market in this case, is, since you are an exporter, market is your vessel that is taking your products out. Okay? But it is not a deliberate policy of Nexim to concentrate on certain areas. It is because businesses seem to concentrate in certain clusters. If you are a manufacturer, you find many manufacturers or processors in the Lagos, Ogun stretch. Some of the issue may be because of logistics reasons and closeness to the port. But don't forget, I mentioned earlier that in the soya share value chain alone, we'll finance something in not Ondo. In Niger State, two plants. We financed in Kano. Now, why you are seeing this program is because of those areas we want to showcase. Processing. If you're exporting just sesame seeds, why are we going to show you sacks being loaded on trailer? It is export, but we want the focus to be on processing. Okay? Now, there is a second thing we have done. Outside Lagos, we found that in different regions of Nigeria, there are clusters that are trade-driven clusters. If you go to the north, it is Kano. So everything that is produced in neighboring states, like my own state, Katsina, finds its way to the Kano aggregation facilities. We want to encourage the complete value chain to be finished in the state of production. Okay? So we introduced something that is called the State Export Development Fund, which was riding on the program that NEPC was driving, which is called One State, One Program, One Product. That is to say, in every state of Nigeria, there must be something that is exportable. Okay, and we went and stood behind NEPC to say, everything you've promoted here, we'll put money behind it. Okay, so there is State Export Development Fund that we're working with state governments to ensure that whatever produced, whether agri products, solid minerals, or aquaculture in this case, that the state with the entrepreneurs in that state want to develop under the One State, One Product, will put money behind it so that we can spread our benefit across the whole country and our support. So it's not deliberate that we're doing Lagos, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your very rich answers. So some questions here. I think the first I would read is, what is one common mistake you see SMEs making when they approach development finance institutions like Nexim? One common mistake. Then another question, how is Nexim creating opportunities for young entrepreneurs in the creative industries who want to scale their ideas into export-ready businesses?
Sorry, can you take that?
Just pass him when you're done.
How is Nexim creating opportunities for young entrepreneurs in the creative industries who want to scale their ideas into export-ready businesses? Then I have another one here on the maximum lending amounts that can be accessed, and is this sector specific, the maximum lending amount? Or then can Nexim help or assist explorers in contact with international buyers or agents that represent the import world, import market?
So that's foreign market.
Yes, the foreign market. Solidarity greetings, MD. I'm Yusuf Tobi, okay, SUG President of Uni Abuja. On behalf of the 50,000 students of Uni Abuja, we want to appreciate you, okay? My question is, as students who are interested in export business, how can we really access this funding opportunity? And are there specific provisions for young people like us who are just starting out? I think I'll take one more. This person is asking about training. We've answered this. Okay, so this person is asking, what is Nexim doing to take this kind of important program to the rural areas across the country? Okay, I think I'll stop there.
Let me add this. As a student that already has a popcorn brand, ready to eat packaged popcorn, how can I export? Can I export it, and how? I should please make sure that you drop some of those popcorn before you leave here today. So we can verify.
Okay.
We'll start with the compare. Let me taste it.
You said the first question was about common mistakes.
Yes.
The most we see mistakes is the lack of proper preparation. What SMEs do not do well is to package their proposal so that the banks understand what they are trying to do. So the packaging is a bit below expectation, usually when you get applications or proposals from SMEs. To handle that, we now entered into, for the international businesses, into a partnership with Afrexim Bank. And we have a product that is called the Joint Project Preparation Facility. What does it do? We have a domestic one that we can support small SMEs and small businesses that cannot access Afrexim Bank. What basically is for us to sit down together with you and understand your business. You tell us what your business is, and we help you to prepare your proposal with you. Okay? It may cost you a bit of money. That's why it's a facility. But what we do for both the joint project facility preparation and the domestic one is to make that cost part of the loan that you benefit from. Okay? But for us, there is nothing better than building the capacity for yourself so that you'll be able to transmit this, not your product, but your idea for other people to understand what you are trying to do. Okay? It's not enough that you know what you want to do and you just do one sheet of paper. I want to apply for 500 million naira to export sesame. People don't know what is the process that you're trying to follow to do the egg. So we sit down with you and help you plan it and do that. So for me, that's the most common mistake. But there are other mistakes. Other mistakes that are around standards. Many of us assume that when they package things from source, that everything is okay. So we export things that even when you get the funding, we export things that probably have impediments inside. Sand, stones, nails, and it gets to markets that will reject it. You will make losses, the bank as a lender will make losses. So one thing that you have to do is to ensure yourself as an exporter that what you are taking out there to export is up to the standard that has been requested from your export contract. Those are the kind of things that SMEs need to take care of. Let it be known, and that's branding. Let it be known that once you see something from Lavutra, if I can use borrow your name, that you know everything has been done properly. You have to keep building that brand. Let us also create a brand for Nigeria, that anything that comes out of Nigeria has a positive brand. And we say, when you see shoe that is made in Italy, without knowing whether it is good or bad, now you buy it because it is a brand. So let us work together, all of us, to ensure that Nigeria's brand is viewed from a positive point of view. That whatever we put our stamp as, proudly Nigerian, it meets international standards. It's things we should continue doing until everybody takes out that negative perception about Nigerian products in the global export market. So creating opportunities for young exporters. Let me just put young Nigerians that we want to pull into export is, I think, one of the things that we're doing today. One, creating awareness, building capacities, and supporting you when you start the business with financing or instruments that will enable you to trade your goods. Sometimes it doesn't have to be financing, as in naira or dollars. Sometimes with instruments, guarantees, insurance, and so on, we can finance your business, we can facilitate your business, and the financing will come in as the transaction is going. Okay? Again, that is why if you have an idea of what you want to do, speak to us, speak to NEPC and other trade facilitation experts, and they will guide you through how we can support you. A question came in about, again, maximum volume and conditions.
Yes.
There is no maximum on the side of the exporter. What limits us is what we call a single obligor limit. Okay? The bank can give you money up to a certain amount that the capital of the bank allows us to do. But on your own side, what maximum we give you is depends on what the business that you're. That's why we have to have a full understanding of your business so that we can estimate how much volumes you need to do to complete a cycle of the business you're trying to do. So your maximum depends on what business you are doing. Our maximum depends on our limit, our ceiling. We have a ceiling that we can go. And that, I don't think, when we're supporting youth, and I'm not saying anything to degrade the importance of youth, we're not going to get to that maximum that we can do for any single exporter. When we're talking of those, we're talking about the big guys. Okay? where we start reaching our ceiling. So for this sitting and SMEs, by the time you can get to that limit, you won't be considered an SME again. You become a big player. You become a big player. For us, well, we'll be within limits with you. So any business you have and the volumes that are required, we can support you with it. And I've spoken about the conditions. The rates are still single digits. Introduction, I think the next one is introduction to foreign markets. That, as financiers, we don't do. Okay? We allow NEPC to do that. They are the ones that are promoters of trade in Nigeria, promoters of export. And you ask me why, if you come to Nexim, we won't give you the address of, foreign address of an off-taker, a buyer of your product. Because if things go awry, you come to us and say, you are the one that is our money. But you come to us and say, you are the ones that told us to deal with this man. So we allow you to go and find your off-taker. Go to NEPC, they will connect you with off-taker. If you build trust between you, you can come to us then and we'll finance it. So we don't give...
no matchmaking.
No match. We don't do matchmaking so that we don't go and put ourselves in trouble. Then opportunities, again, the next question is about opportunities for young people. I think that's a repeated question, which applies to this question. Come to us. If you just even have, I want to call it a dream. If you have a vision about the business you want to do, but don't know how you go about doing it, start engaging. Engage with us, engage with NEPC, engage with other agencies, institutions, not necessarily private sector, but like development agencies. They have programs that they support people who want to go into this kind of businesses, especially in the export value chain. We'll all come together and support you so that we'll create this exciting and exciting opportunities that are in the export value chain for the young people of Nigeria. We want to partner with every body or every agency that wants to promote youth in export. And we will support you till you become adept at doing export business.
Okay. I think Honorable Israel
popcorn.
The most important question.
I want to see this guy that has this popcorn.
Please, I think the person is in the overflow. Can the popcorn person please come over?
Because we can look at it.
Yes.
But what I want to encourage is that there is nothing too small that cannot be exported. There is nothing that is too small to say that it cannot be exported. And I like his determination. He doesn't look at it like popcorn is a street business. After all, we go to H-Medics in Abuja and buy popcorn now. Yes. That popcorn can be exported. Yes. In my office, I have something that I have a cabinet that has products, especially those that are produced in Nigeria, but I also put samples so that our mindset will start shifting. Mm-hmm. What is that sample? It was bought on the shelves of the United States, a United States store. Okay? What is inside is plantain chips. Mm. The same plantain chips that we buy. But because of packaging, you are made to spend, I think it's $3.50.
That's your popcorn.
Okay. It's $3.50 for not more than one finger of plantain.
Mm. Yes.
$3.50, just calculate it in naira and see.
Yam is £8.
You are talking about 5,000 or 6,000 naira for one finger of plantain, and it's all packaging and branded. Yes. It's the same. Yorubas call it pekere.
Yes.
The same pekere that is sold on the street.
Yes.
That is in that. So there is nothing that is not exportable.
Yes.
Do it well, standards, quality, package it very well, attractive to the eye, put it on any shelf around the world, it will be bought. And if you come to us, we'll facilitate putting it on the shelf around the world. What we want, why I said I wanted to see you, I want to see this person that has the determination of taking popcorn outside the borders of not only Nigeria, but even Abuja. You are taking outside Abuja, outside Nigeria, but look at the maybe regional markets. And I assure you, you won't fail. You're welcome.
Come and get a popcorn handshake with the MD.
See,
It's because of people like you that
we did an export enlightenment program, and I think somebody asked about the rural areas.
Yes.
And I don't say Kebbi is rural area. We take our message across the whole country. Okay? Once you can put people together and they want to be enlightened, because most of the products we grow, they come from the rural areas now. We want them to grow more, even if they can't be in it. So we went to Kebbi State at the Export Enlightenment Program. A young man like this guy, very young guy, came and said he has orders to export dried fruits to Russia. He is schooled in Russia. He has contacts in Russia. Dried pineapple, mangoes, oranges, he dries them. Can he get financing? No, he said, your financing is not for people like us. We told him, come to the office, let's discuss. He came, we helped him package his products, his business, the process, because it's something that is new. Today, he has a plant in Idu here.
Wow.
Yes. So there is nothing that is
important. Hear
important.
these success stories.
Yes.
Push it out.
He has a plant, and we are taking him to intra-Africa trade in Algeria so that he can go and showcase those dried fruits so that he can expand his markets within Africa rather than just having one market in Russia. So popcorn guy, you can also come. I will support you to do industrial scale popcorns.
Amazing. I'm sure if we ask you for so many success stories, you have a lot to share. We just need to hear. I think hearing these things also helps to reinforce the possibilities that exist within the export space. So yes, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think because MD is traveling today, we'll take a final batch of questions. Will be a mix, yes. So we'll do a mix. We'll take from here. We'll take from the overflows. The overflow in here is, does anybody have any question there? And we'll then... Oh, yes. Also, can we get the questions from online as well? Let's collate them. I'm sure some of them are already here already. Okay, so let's start from here. I'll take the gentleman in the white hat. He's a member of the IBB Golf Club, which I'm a member, so which one?
Golf us all.
Praise the Lord. I stand on the existing protocol, the MD, the youth leader, a versatile youth leader, and compare.
Finally, somebody recognizes me. Thank
Hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for this exposure and also the creativity that our young leader here has. We have been thoroughly enlightened, especially myself. I want to ask, government of Asiwaju Tinubu has been trying to expose our industrialization and efforts to ensure that we are liberated. Sorry, my name is Festus Benga Olubodu. Now, sir, and he's been trying to create agencies and avenues to ensure that we are really liberated industrially. And one of them that I recently know about very well is a National Credit Guarantee Agency.